Hey, this is Rob Tiffany. Just want to spend a brief moment talking to you about this speeding train called climate change that's been heading our way for a long, long time. We've actually known about this for decades, certainly as early as the 70s when, scientists at Exxon discovered that, burning fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, things like that, have a side effect. They emit all these extra gases and put them into the atmosphere, like CO2, methane, all kinds of stuff. Probably back at the time, when we used to look up at the stars and look up at our sky, we went, you know what? The atmosphere is too vast. It just seems to go on forever. There's no way that human beings could influence the the atmosphere and the temperatures by putting stuff into it's just too big. Of course, all that changed when we finally put astronauts in space and went around in orbit. And those first astronauts saw how tiny and thin and frail our atmosphere actually is. It doesn't go on forever. It's the thinnest little slice just above the Earth. And so it's kind of terrifying when you realize, wow, it turns out it's not that big, it's not that vast, and we can actually have an impact. We've been having an impact for a long time, So a lot of folks are thinking about this speeding train as something that's coming in the future. It's not here today, it's coming in the future. And so we got time to kick the can down the road. We can keep doing what we're doing, because no doubt about it, fossil fuels, oil, it's created affluence for Americans and people all over the world. There's no question it's done great stuff for us. We've got airplanes, we've got spaceships, we've got cars, we've got freedom. It's given us all kinds of great stuff. We heat our homes with natural gas. We create electricity, using all kinds of technologies. Absolutely. And guess what? No one wants to give up on that stuff. They're like, hey, life's been pretty good because of all this stuff, and we don't want to give up on it. I totally get it. Don't feel like you're a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. I'm driving a gasoline-powered car. I fly on airplanes around the world, I have natural gas heating my home, so don't feel bad about it. Just admitting that there's something going on, though, is kind of the key, right? Like lots of things, like a 12-step program, right? So the key takeaway here is, as we're putting these gases into the atmosphere, turns out our atmosphere is a lot thinner and smaller than we thought, and the parts per million keep going up. A great analogy is look at our solar system. Look at planets that are closer to the sun than us. You've got Mercury and Venus. Most people think that Mercury must be the hottest planet in the solar system because it is right next to the sun and it is just burning alive. But as it turns out, Venus, which looks like just this invisibly blanketed in clouds planet, is much hotter than Mercury is. And it's because it has this dense blanket of noxious gases trapping in heat and making it the most dangerous, inhospitable planet you could ever imagine visiting. Well, we're on track to doing that to ourselves. We are creating Venus on Earth is what we're doing. It seemed like a good thing. We're getting lots of good stuff out of it, but, sometimes we learn and we grow and we discover, hey, you know what? This cool stuff we're doing actually has consequences. So now that we know, we got to stop, right? And we all have to stop. The thing is, it's not something that's coming in the future. I know lots of people, there's a lot of controversy. Trust me, I'm from Texas. I was born in oil country out in West Texas, and I grew up in Houston, where all the oil companies are headquartered. And I have a lot of friends who are like kicking and screaming, shut the hell up, dude. Because it affects their livelihood. I totally get it. People are self-interested. People need to take care of their families. Totally get it. We've got to do a lot more, though, now than we originally planned. There used to be this notion that we'll reduce our emissions, we'll get cleaner, and we've done some great things. And this might sound horrible to you, but, moving from coal-fired plants to natural gas is actually a great move. Natural gas cleans a lot, burns a lot cleaner. So that's all good stuff. Nuclear power, I know you think that's a boogeyman. I happen to know a lot about it because I used to serve on a nuclear submarine and I know how to operate a reactor. Nuclear power is a heck of a lot cleaner. It doesn't put gases into the atmosphere, and there's newer, cleaner ways to even do nuclear power these days. Not only do we have to shut down putting this stuff in the atmosphere because the temperatures are already rising, and in some cases they're already exceeding the 2 degrees Celsius mark that we've all agreed to with the Paris Accords. we're going to actually have to start sucking CO2 out of the atmosphere. So it's already not enough to reduce. We're going to have to pull it out. And there's lots of innovative stuff going on, up here where I live in the Seattle area. Bill Gates has been investing in some great energy companies that are actually doing that. Heck, on the submarine, we had CO2 scrubbers because we couldn't live. We had to breathe, right? And if CO2 gets too high on a submarine or a spaceship, you're going to pass out, and then eventually you're going to die. So we have the ability to scrub CO2, and maybe that's kind of the stuff you hear about when you hear about carbon capture. But there's great startups working on building giant machines that suck CO2 out of the air. And of course, you could always just go plant some trees. Reforestation of the planet might do us a little bit of good as well. Anyway, I know I'm kind of rambling here. I just want you to know that it's already here. It's not something in the future. You don't necessarily have to believe in something or believe that humans are doing it. If you watch the news every day and you see the weather report and you see what the temperature is in your town, and the rainfall and humidity and things like that, you've probably noticed that it's a whole hell of a lot hotter every year, every month than it's been since when you grew up, right? It just is. And so that's a reality we're facing, whether you believe in scientific modeling of the future or not, because sure, we get stuff wrong, but it's here today. And once you have knowledge, you should do something about it. So anyway, I'm hoping people will start doing something about it. We're actually have to do something in a big way. It won't be just enough for individuals to act locally and think globally. We're going to have to do some big stuff. Anyway, I'm passionate about this stuff. Obviously, I'm spending much of my time contributing my talents of writing code and building Internet of Things technology to monitor and control large ecosystems to try to help. And I hope you're interested in helping too. Whatever skills or talents you have that could contribute to helping to solve this problem, please volunteer, please step up beyond what you do in your normal day job and see what you can do to help. We have got to be all in on this thing, like 1,000%. So anyway, I'm out.